make the biggest mistake in the world next week, doesn't change the fact that he's a Hall of Fame coach. You know what because he's got the credibility now. And you could lose every game you coach and then have the most brilliant play call in the world, and people won't give it the credit it deserves because the book's already written, and that you're right. That's the difference there, exactly. But Mike Pettine's a rookie head coach.
Very true.
He's got a lot of time to sort this stuff out, and that's why I think it may actually be an advantage for the Browns to have the bye week this early, because the train hasn't gone off the tracks yet. A lot of times when you get to the bye week, you're barely holding on. You got half the team injured, and you got Brandon Weeden throwing ducks all over the place, and you just traded Trent Richardson, and you're just happy to get there in one piece, and then you stumble out of it and stagger through the second half. Here, a little bit different, because I think that they may believe. And the schedule helps, too. When you come out of the bye and you look at that run of games right there and you go, hell, we can win all of these games if we play good football. Mike Pettine said it best yesterday. He said, we're a half-and-half team. You could cut up our good plays, and you would think we were absolutely unbeatable. And you could cut up our other plays, and you would think we couldn't beat a high school football team. He goes, we got to shore that up so that we're consistent across the board. And he's absolutely right. That was a great description, I thought, because you could easily say either way, depending on which quarter of Browns football you were watching. There's times that they look like world beaters, and there's times they look like they couldn't beat anybody.
Yeah, no question, and we'll see what happens in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. Tennessee coming out of the bye. Right now they get a chance to pull it together. Looking around week 3, anything that surprised you so far through the first 3 weeks of the season?
Yeah, there were a couple of things. I was disappointed that, the Giants found a way to lose last week. They managed to finally get on the win column this week, which was pleasantly surprising because I was almost sure the Texans were going to come in and, they were going to start their ascension back to being a good team. Of course, that's not happening so quick. I'm very surprised at what's coming out of Washington, that the Redskins are continuing to have problems. I'm not so surprised at all that Seattle is continuing their roll through dominance. I think the 49ers and the Cardinals have a long way to go with that. I agree, Larry. Eli Manning is not looking like the Manning he once was, or even anywhere near what his brother is. I think I would take his father right now as a youth over him right now. This is definitely not 2007 or 2011 for Eli Manning. I think when you look at the Jets and you look at some of the problems that they've come through, and I'm not a Jet hater, I'm not a Jet apologist either, but I looked at that game last night and I said, this is a team, the Bears, that are having problems. They're not playing bad ball, but they are having problems at certain spots. The Jets had the possibility to put the Bears in a hole last night with a loss, and they didn't do it. Bears get out ahead. They made mistakes early, and they never really caught up. They played better, but they never really caught up. And it's very true, Bruce. Manning really, Archie really was a good player on bad teams. They had one winning season in 15 years. He was in the uniform for the Saints. So,
I wanted to ask you brought up that Arizona-San Francisco game. What are you thinking there? I know Arizona's your adopted team over there. The Cardinals, man, you got to like Stanton's going out there and played. You got to like what the Cardinals have done through the first couple weeks.
Drew Stanton is he is just one play away from being the starting quarterback, because as much as I think Carson Palmer's a team guy, I think at this point in his career, it's time that he give way to Drew Stanton anyway. Okay, and I think that that's the Cardinals' future, is not to keep looping Carson Palmer out there on two crutches. I didn't like the move when they brought him here. I liked them getting a hold of Stanton, but they did it at the expense of John Skelton, who's backing up in Cincinnati right now, and sooner or later people are going to see the ability that this kid has, even if he's not very mobile. The guy has a howitzer for an arm, and I watched him play through the 3 years in college that he started, and all he did was, set records. True, it was FCS, it was in the Bronx, but still, he was playing college ball, setting records, and this guy's got an arm. So, I look at quarterbacks a little differently because I've known some good quarterback coaches in my time, and I've learned from a few guys. And I really saw Trestman made some mistakes last night, but he still managed to take advantage of Rex Ryan and the Jets. And I think it's going to be a long time before the Jets get over this one.
Let me tell you, let me ask you, if we'd have said before the season that through the Browns bye week that there would be 3 undefeated teams in the NFL, I mean, who would have said, oh, let me guess, they're going to be Cincinnati, Arizona, and Philadelphia? Philadelphia maybe because they've got that, I like Chip Kelly's offense over there. I don't know if I thought they'd have started out this hot to start the season, but definitely nobody would have said Arizona and Cincinnati, I think, starting out with 3-0.
Well, nobody who doesn't know wasn't been paying attention to what Arizona's doing. I have been, and, I know the kind of program and the come there. About 2 hours south of me, and he's working really hard. I'll be going to a couple of games coming up here in the next few weeks, so I'll be able to tell you a little more since I haven't been there since early August. But, I know him to be a good coach, and the time that I spent with him, not individual because I'm not that important to get an individual reading with BA, but, sitting down with him and, getting to talk to him a little bit in a small group of journalists as opposed to 50 guys in a press conference asking questions rapid fire. You get a little more sense of what the guy is and what it means to the guy. And he was more interested in the fact that we were doing stuff on the social media side and the social agenda side with Larry and Calais and what I thought about being an ex-coach, what I thought about his special teams. So, and they need a little work there too, because even though they've been doing well in the kicking game, the coverages haven't been that good. So they know they have to tighten up the coverages if they want to be in the playoffs this year.
Oh, yeah. I like Arians, too. Flip side of that, there's 3 undefeated teams. There's 3 teams still waiting to get their first loss of the season. Oakland, Jacksonville, 0-3, as is Tampa over in the NFC. And clearly, those aren't just 3 0-3 teams. Hands down, those are the 3 worst teams in the NFL. I've seen all 3 of them play this year, and they are all absolutely pitiful. And the Browns have all 3 of them on their schedule here as the season rolls on. Matter of fact, in my Madden franchise for this season, the Browns, believe it or not, it's really played to true life. My season simulated out 1-2 into the bye week. They lost to Pittsburgh. They lost to the Ravens. And then the Browns won 5 in a row coming out of the bye week. I'm like, well, you should be, because in my simulated season, Oakland came in 0-5, and then Jacksonville came in the next week 0-6, and I said, man, these are some rough teams right here, man. So true life is playing out much like the fantasy does in the video game. But those 3 teams are all really, really bad. One thing I did notice just looking over the overall standings here is the Browns sit at 1-2. They have the lowest point differential of any team when you look at the plus and minus of their 3 games. The Browns point differential of -3, the lowest among all of the negative teams, and that's literally the difference. 3 points, the difference between 1-2, 2-1, 3-0, and 0-3 for the Browns.
Yeah, and it could be a lot worse, Jerry. Browns.
We've seen a lot worse. What do you mean? You don't got to tell us that. We've lived through a lot worse.
I'm not going to stand here. I'm not going to stand here and say 10-6 or 9-7 like last year. But there's still a lot of good possibilities here. I do believe they will be competitive going down the stretch, because if not, you know what's going to happen. This guy's going to be one and done. He's going to be out.
I don't see that. I said yesterday, no matter what the record is this season, I do believe that Mike Pettine's he's going to leave the Browns in a better place than he came here. He's got a good football foundation. I do believe that. I don't. Plus, he can go 0-16, brother. There's no way this team is going to change out a coach after the first year, 3 years in a row. He could add 2 games. He could go 0-18. Nobody's ever done that before. He's still going to keep his job. But I don't think we need to worry about that. I mean, he's obviously not going to go 0-anything. But I agree with you, too. It's important to have a strong second half of the season. Bro, if you can't have a strong run coming out of the bye, as I said, this is no exaggeration. You're playing probably the 4 worst teams in football over the 5 weeks coming out of the bye. And then Pittsburgh obviously is better than those guys. But Dan Wismar said it best to wrap this up. If you can't beat them, you are them. And that's the best way I can wrap it up too, man. Browns,
that's true.
If
right.
They don't go,
right.
If they don't go 4-1 coming out of the bye week, if they don't win 4 of those 5 games, then they are just not as far along as people think they are. I mean, there's no reason to sugarcoat it. You know, if you go 2-3, that's unacceptable for that stretch of games. I mean, come on, man. Brian Hoyer should throw for 7,000 yards against that Tampa Bay defense, looking at what Matt Ryan did to him the other day. And Jacksonville as well. I've been advising my son. He goes, Dad, who should I play in fantasy football? Anybody playing the Jags, the Raiders, or the Bucks. That's it. That's who you should play. Anybody playing those 3 teams because they're just absolutely terrible. Dr. Football.
And you have to expect better from professional football in Florida. But I know you want to get out of here, Jerry, so I'm going to let you go. And as always, it's always a pleasure with you. Tuesday's my favorite sports day now.
You got it, my man, Dr. Football. Have a good one. We'll catch up next week. The Browns will be on the bye, and we'll be getting ready for Tennessee.
You got it.
All right, looking forward to talking all the Week 4 action with Dr. Football. Of course, the Browns off. That doesn't mean he'll be there. He'll be off. He'll be here doing the thing, and we're going to call it a segment. Thank you, Dr. Football. You guys can tweet with them at Ask Dr. Football, but we're not going to call it a show. Not just yet. We're going to take one last break. Come back. Phone lines are open, 216-539-7535. We're going to hit the news of the day. Did you guys hear the latest twist on Rob Baronis, speaking of the Titans, former Titans kicker, may have been involved in some road rage right before the accident that took his life over the weekend. We'll talk about that. And I'm going to end the show on a good story that I saw about, hard work, long time, pays off. We'll talk about that. We'll set the stage for the Indians, the final stand, the final countdown maybe tonight. We'll talk about it when we come back. Final segment of the Sports Fix coming up next.
Sitting from above, oh Mr. D. Wayne Love.
Warning. Listening to the Sports Fix could cause serious injury, bodily harm, or even death.
Ah, broken blood vessel!
You've been warned. The Sports Fix.
Hey guys, before we go to the break, I want to talk to you a little bit again about our good friends at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championships, some of the hottest fights in the world today. Each and every one of their huge events, Harry Buffalo is one of the few places in Northeast Ohio you can go there and watch each and every UFC fight at the Harry Buffalo. And let me tell you, I've been there. The people are out the door. They are to the rafters. It is one of the craziest environments for some UFC fights. Wing Mondays, they've got great deals on wings and drinks, and every day of the week there's a different special, a different deal. And don't forget the Bison Burger, the unbelievable. It is the combination of a fantastic burger and eating healthy combined into one unbelievable sandwich. You have got to get a Bison Burger while you're there. So whatever you're looking for, whatever day of the week, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sundays, there's something for you at the Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, just outside Great Northern Mall. Check them out today. Harry Buffalo, join the herd.
Hey, this is Antoine Jameson, and you listen to the Sports Fix.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Ohio. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Sports Fix is now available every day on the world's largest internet radio service, iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeartRadio app, subscribe to the show, and get your fix.
Need the perfect ingredients for a great tailgating experience? All you need are good friends football.